Every time the EV zealots demand more subsidies, more incentives, or more tax breaks to, quote, encourage, unquote, people to switch to a battery electric car, it is an admission that EVs simply cannot compete with regular combustion cars on a level playing field. If they could, there would be no need for any financial incentives and people would flock to them just because they were a better product. But they don't, because they aren't a better product. They're a far inferior product that is inconvenient, impractical and expensive. So instead, drivers must be bribed with other people's taxpayer money, and usually it's to wealthy inner city liberals who'd have bought one anyway. So the poor are funding the EVs of the rich. And in Australia, the eventual cost of the fringe benefits tax exemption bestowed on EVs has been revealed. And it's astronomical. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney YouTuber. If you wish to keep up with all the net zero and EV insanity, please click that subscribe button down below and enable all notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you'd like to support this channel, head over to my store where you can buy some cool anti-EV merch. Or alternatively, you can chip in a small donation at Buy Me a Coffee. Links to both are in the description, or you can scan the QR codes on screen. When I arrived in Australia 20 years ago, it seemed like an idyllic place where the sun always shone and everyone seemed friendly and happy with their lot. But now it's almost unrecognisable, a ghastly lefty woke hellhole, riddled with division and heading down the same path as the UK I escaped from just a few years behind. So of course we have an EV mandate tarted up as an efficiency standard by our socialist government. But despite the insanity of the government, the people of Australia are still sensible enough to see that they're slowly losing their freedoms, and they're not buying the EV propaganda, at least not as fast as the government wants. So like everywhere else in the world, the sale of EVs has to be artificially boosted by the use of bribes, tax breaks, incentives and subsidies paid for by my tax dollars. Driven by the madness of the net zero cult, we cannot be allowed to choose our own vehicles anymore, and we must be forced into buying the winner picked by the government, the electric vehicle, rather than our dependable and reliable petrol and diesel cars. Bearing in mind, of course, that even if our entire fleet of cars, trucks and lorries was entirely electric, the climate wouldn't even blink. So tiny is the impact of Australia on global emissions. But none of that matters in the brainwashed cult of net zero. And now it has been revealed that one of these bribes, the fringe benefits tax exemption, will cost the Australian economy billions over the next decade. Billions that could, of course, be spent far more wisely elsewhere. Electric car tax breaks projected to cost Australia $23 billion by 2036, modelling. Popular incentives for purchasing electric cars are expected to cost taxpayers an 11-figure sum over the next 11 years, according to modelling out of Canberra. Tax benefits on electric cars in Australia, including an exemption from fringe benefits tax (FBT) for novated leases, are projected to cost Australian taxpayers $23.4 billion by the middle of the next decade. They are estimated to cost $285 million this financial year alone, rising to $4.25 billion in financial year 2035-36, according to federal government modelling released in June, reported by the Australian Financial Review this week. The majority of the cost is linked to the exemption from fringe benefits tax (FBT) for electric cars priced below the luxury car tax (LCT) threshold of $91,000 that are purchased through a novated lease, where the vehicle is paid for from an employee's pre-tax salary. And yes, just to explain, we have another arbitrary tax on vehicles called the luxury car tax because reasons. It allows motorists to purchase an electric car for the same price as a petrol or diesel vehicle with a retail price as much as 1/3 lower, saving them thousands of dollars. The FBT exemption, which also applied to plug-in hybrids from July 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2025, has been significantly more popular than forecast, earning Treasury an estimated $220 million in revenue last financial year compared to an initial prediction of $55 million, the AFR reports. About 100,000 Australians took out a novated lease between July 2022 and February 2025, according to the National Automotive Leasing and Salary Packaging Association. The rest of the projected $23.4 billion cost forecast for July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2036, including $3.17 billion by July 2029, is tied to an exemption from import tariffs for EVs priced below the LCT threshold. And even the government's own Productivity Commission is criticising the plan to continue with EV subsidies and incentives. It argued that the programs cost taxpayers between $1,000 and $20,000 per tonne of carbon dioxide emissions avoided, and that it overlaps with the new Vehicle Efficiency Standard (NVES), the country's CO2 emissions rules for new cars. The Australian government should eliminate the exemption of EVs from FBT, and state and territory governments should eliminate stamp duty and registration discounts for EV owners. Now that the NVES is in place, these policies are duplicative, the Productivity Commission said in its report. The main policy promoting the purchase of low-emissions vehicles should be the NVES. Compared with EV-specific subsidies, the NVES incentivises a broader set of emissions reductions options. Vehicle suppliers can meet the standard not just by selling EVs, but also by selling cleaner, fossil-fueled cars, which may be more cost-effective in some cases. Removing subsidies at all levels of government and allowing the NVES to be the main tool for promoting clean vehicles will free up what governments currently spend on EVs for other purposes, ideally more productive ones. Yeah, absolutely. And whilst, in my view, the driver for this, the notional reduction in emissions, is still unnecessary, the logic here is correct. Stop the EV incentives and use the money elsewhere. As it states, even cleaner fossil-fueled cars should continue to be part of the mix, as I have advocated for, because forcing all electric vehicles on everyone is a policy that is destined to fail. Can you think of anything worse, in a dire cost of living crisis, than funneling billions of dollars from the poorest in society straight into the pockets of the smug urban liberal elites so that they can get a few thousand off their Teslas? Don't know about you, but I'm struggling. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt? Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EV sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to the channel.